Emeka, I don't remember a rookie having this much hype in the sense of just the way people talk about him.
It's caught! Touchdown! It's a caught ball! Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Emeka Egbuka! Emeka Egbuka, touchdown, Tampa Bay!
We're not surprised, just like everybody else is surprised, but this guy, he's been the real deal.
Mayfield looking for Egbuka! Oh, what a catch! He hauls it in!
You disrespect one of my passes like that again, we're gonna have a problem, all right? Two hands. Two hands.
The Buccaneers were supposed to lean on their veterans this fall. Instead, it's a rookie wideout who's been stealing the show. In his first 3 games, Emeka Egbuka hasn't just held his own, he's played like wide receiver 1 on one of the top offenses in the league. A first-round pick who's calm under pressure, explosive in space, and trusted in big moments. The NFC South thought it had its hands full with Evans and Godwin, but Egbuka might be the receiver that changes everything. With Chris Godwin sidelined to open the season, rookie Emeka Egbuka has been on an absolute tear. It started with the season opener in Atlanta. Mercedes-Benz Stadium was loud, hostile, and ready to chew up the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Falcons managed to shut down the Bucs through a quarter and a half, and then the rookie introduced himself to the NFL. Midway through the second, the Bucs drove to Atlanta's 30 and were looking at a 3rd and short, but they went big instead. From the slot, Emeka Egbuka stemmed inside, snapped his cut, and had his defender trailing a step behind. Mayfield saw the break and let it rip. 30 yards later, the rookie was plowing into the end zone for his first professional touchdown, looking like he'd done it 1,000 times before.
Mayfield sets, he throws, it's caught, touchdown!
He was calm, cold, and collected. Fast forward to the 4th quarter, and the Falcons made the same mistake. They shifted coverage to Mike Evans again, and Egbuka beat Mike Hughes down the seam for another 30-yard score.
It's a caught ball! Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Emeka Egbuka!
Take me back to what you remember before you got the score.
Shoot to kill.
In week 2, another score came on a 15-yarder, proving the opener was no fluke. In only 3 starts as a pro, Egbuka has racked up 14 catches for 181 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Mayfield's pass is caught! It's Egbuka!
And here's the thing, watching Egbuka, you can't help wondering what happens when defenses stop treating him like a rookie and start scheming for him. How does this offense look when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are back on the field with Egbuka? And if this is Tampa Bay's baseline, are we staring at the start of something the league hasn't seen in years? We'll dive more into that in a minute, but first, hit that like and subscribe while we dissect what makes this kid such a great fit in Tampa Bay. Now, you don't survive at Ohio State unless you know how to share the ball and still win beats. During his 4 years in Columbus, the names of the receivers Egbuka lined up with are mind-blowing. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Chris Olave, and Garrett Wilson are just the guys everyone knows about. That's not a wide receiver room, it's an all-pro waiting room, and Egbuka still found a lane to dominate from. In 2022, as a sophomore by the way, he lit up defenses with 74 catches, over 1,100 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Not as the featured option, just as the guy who kept forcing his way into the box score.
First down, touchdown, Emeka Egbuka.
In 2023, we saw what this kid is made of when an ankle injury stole games, stole his momentum, and forced Egbuka to have surgery. Most guys vanish in that spot, but not Egbuka. Even when he was bruised and banged up, he gave Ohio State 515 yards and 4 scores in 10 games. He answered adversity with grit, not excuses. In Tampa, that's a job requirement. By 2024, Meek was back at full speed, hauling in 81 grabs for over 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns on the way to a national championship. But it wasn't all about number 2, in fact, it never was. So what's the lesson here? Well, it's kind of simple. Egbuka doesn't need the spotlight to shine. He's lived his whole career surrounded by superstars and still put up stupid good numbers while delivering in the clutch. That's why Tampa makes sense. Tampa! This isn't a rookie who has to be fed to stay relevant. He thrives in crowded rooms and he knows how to turn limited touches into game-changing plays. But with Chris Godwin sidelined and opportunity knocking, Egbuka has kicked the door down and proven he's ready to claim a piece of the Bucs offense right now, and here's where it gets interesting. We've seen what Meek can do when he's in single coverage with the safeties doubling Evans. So what the hell is this flying circus going to look like when Chris Godwin is healthy and the reads tilt even further toward Egbuka's advantage? We may have to wait a little longer to find out since Evans tweaked his hamstring in week 3, so it looks like he and a healthy Godwin are just changing places for now. But at some point, all three of these guys are going to line up together, and when they do, the math is going to be absolutely brutal on opposing defenses, and it's going to be kind of fun to watch. Egbuka's been lighting up the scoreboard to start 2025. Now, imagine the insane splits we'll see when all three of these guys are lining up together in 11 personnel. Evans wide to the boundary, Egbuka in motion to the stack, and Godwin as the slot anchor. Oh, and if that's not enough firepower to scare the hell out of a defense, you have Cade Otton to worry about coming off the line, and either Bucky Irving or Baker Mayfield running out of the backfield.
Mayfield steps up. He's going to run it. Mayfield at the 5, trying to get in, and he does!
Good luck with that, amigos. With all those weapons, Tampa should be able to do whatever they want, provided the offensive line holds up. If they do, this offense can build mirrored reads. They can hammer RPO glances to Egbuka if you spin late, or go single high to take Evans. Oh, and if you shade Evans with a quarter-half answer, Godwin eats your nickel's lunch on option routes. This is why the ceiling talk jumps from dangerous duo to terrifying trio once all these guys are healthy. And yes, I know it's early to go all in on this next point, but it's absolutely something to keep an eye on. If not this year, then next season for sure. In NFL history, there are only 5 seasons where a team fielded 3 1,000-yard receivers. The 1980 Chargers Air Corral system was the first to do it, with Dan Fouts throwing to John Jefferson, Kellen Winslow, and Charlie Joyner.
Dan just rifled that football in there, and he thread the needle. Touchdown, Chargers!
They combined for 3,762 receiving yards and are still the highest of any 1,000-yard receiving trio. The next group that pulled it off was the 1989 Washington Redskins posse with Art Monk, Gary Clark, and Ricky Sanders. The only team to reach this mountaintop in the 90s was the 95 Falcons with Eric Metcalf, Terrence Mathis, and Burt Emanuel. Not surprisingly, Peyton Manning's 2004 Colts joined the club with Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Brandon Stokely. And the last unit to rack up 3 1,000-yard receivers was the 2008 Arizona Cardinals, with Kurt Warner launching to Larry Fitzgerald, Quan Bolden, and Steve Breston. That's it. This league's been around for 105 years, and that's happened 5 times, and that list is short for a reason. It's rare to field that much talent together on one team, and keeping 3 guys healthy, hot, and fed for 17 games is damn near impossible. So, does Tampa have a path to join that exclusive club? Yes. And it starts with usage. You don't chase 1,000, 1,000, 1,000 with vanity targets. You get there with roll clarity and explosiveness. Evans handles the verticals and ISO fades. Godwin lives in third down wins and red zone pivots, and Egbuka becomes the motion engine. Jet sweeps, orbit, stack releases, deep overs off play action, and the glance RPO world that gives Baker clean, aggressive throws. Mayfield will rip that ball if he trusts the setup. We can be certain of that. And that's the other lever at play here. Baker's thrown 6 touchdowns and 0 picks in the first 3 weeks, and he did it while running for his life at times. That in itself is impressive. Yeah, you can nitpick the modest 615 air yards he's put up, but the situational tape tells you the mindset is right, and you damn well know the Bucs will take 2 passing touchdowns and no picks every week. I mean, hell, any team in the league would take that. So here's the early read on this 1,000-yard trio talk. If all 3 of these guys can get healthy, and if Egbuka can play at or near Godwin's level when the room is whole, this isn't just the best trio in 2025, it's a group with a puncher's chance at making history at some point. Yes, there are a lot of ifs involved here, but based on what Egbuka has done with Godwin off the field, the sky is literally the limit for this group once the Bucs are fielding this 3-headed monster. Now let's talk about the friction, because as much fun as it would be to see this group make history, reality has a way of destroying even the best laid plans. The injury bug is already seeing to that this year, and Tampa's schedule won't help. The NFC South is a bit of a disaster outside of Tampa, but after 3 weeks, Atlanta's defense is ranked 2nd in yards allowed, and Carolina is 8th in points given up. Admittedly, New Orleans looks horrible across the board, but it's outside the division where the Bucs are going to get hit the hardest. Weeks 4 through 7 are an absolute nightmare. Philly, Seattle, San Francisco, and Detroit in consecutive games before getting a breather against the lowly Saints in Week 8. Then it's on to New England to face Mike Vrabel's revamped Patriots on the road before seeing Buffalo, the Rams, and Arizona in another mini gauntlet through November. That's tough sledding for any team in this league, no matter how deep you are. The good news is that Tampa's offense is stacked, and that matters, because you don't want to live in 17 and 13 games against those defenses. You want explosiveness and efficiency. That means leaning into what Egbuka does best and making sure he stays a big part of this offense. If the Bucs keep that menu option open and available, they can trade punches with anybody. Now, we've talked about the what-ifs, the dream scenario of 3 1,000-yard receivers, the gauntlet of a schedule, and the historical comparisons, but let's step back and strip it down to the floor, not just the ceiling. At a minimum, Emeka Egbuka is going to carve out a critical role in this offense. He doesn't need 12 targets a game, and he doesn't need to be the headliner. All he needs are touches in space, a quarterback willing to trust him, and defenses distracted by Mike Evans and/or Chris Godwin. That's not speculation about where he can shine. It's baked into who he's been since his days at Ohio State. Can he crack 1,000 yards as a rookie with so many mouths to feed? Well, that's the question. And with injuries already leading to an expanded role, the answer is yes. Not because the offense is forcing anything, but because this kid is truly a stud and his game demands attention even if he doesn't. So, whether this Buccaneers team is making history with a record-setting trio, or if they're fighting tooth and nail every Sunday just to keep pace in the NFC, Egbuka is going to matter. He's too polished, too calm under pressure, and too good at maximizing limited chances to fade into the background. The bottom line? This kid is special, and he's going to shine no matter how the season shakes out. So, what do you think? Is Emeka Egbuka already on track for a 1,000-yard rookie season, or is that too tall a mountain in an offense this crowded? Or does it even matter with this much talent running wild in Tampa? We'd love to get your take on this debate, so drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep-cut breakdowns and stories on the NFL's rising stars, hit like and subscribe to keep it here on Snap Count.